This is your daily market review for Thursday, February 6th, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agents, your daily market review, Thursday, February 6th, 2025, the day before the next jobs numbers. Again, as we've talked about, the economic data continues to come in poorly. It seems like it's been held up for the last year for incumbent purposes, so that those who've been in power look good, and now they're letting it fly. And as we've seen, it's coming in weak, soft, but that doesn't necessarily matter because a lot of it is backwards looking. So no matter what, you always have to trade the market that is in front of you, not the one behind you. Knowing that, with the jobs numbers, typically a doji day, indecision day, and so the expectations are, we had 256,000 jobs added last month. They're expecting to add 155 this month. That number, in my opinion, should move the bond market, and I don't know if it'll necessarily move stocks a ton because you probably get more like the doji, but I'd be curious to see how commodities and bonds act tomorrow. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. If you'd like to chat, use the Calendly link. Let's figure it out. What do you need help with? You're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate? You're looking for that mailbox money? You're looking to improve your trading? You want to chat about the next wave of the market? Holler at your boy. Please feel free to use the link. Also, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, posting a ton of stuff on Twitter as always, and also on YouTube. Hit the notification bell, know when these videos come out. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, hit the thanks button or check the links in the description below. Last but not least, check out the website. Tons of great resources. You can leave comments here, ask questions. Let me know what you need help with, whether it's real estate, trading, education. Holla. All right, we know the Fed fund futures. It's been showing basically about a 15 to 20% likelihood of a rate cut coming up in March. This number will increase the likelihood of a rate cut if what happens? Well, the market continues to weaken overall. But overall, the market seems to be in a chop sloppy time, which that's typical, right? Be aware, though, middle of February is typically bearish. You go look at the seasonality. Check your next week's calendar. It says bullish, but again, that's interesting because then the bears come out the following week. There's typically a pullback middle of February. I guess you could say middle is 10th all the way to the 20th. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Valentine's Day is typically, it looks like it's been bullish the last 10 years essentially, but we'll see what happens. Again, let's not think too far ahead. So we know the Fed fund futures is likely not going to do anything. Good old Bitcoin. I feel bad for the Bitcoiners. They've been rubbing it in gold's face for what seems like a decade, and now they're in the chop zone, as we talked about. When you do a large up move, you typically go sideways. That's where we're at right now. Keep an eye on it. Again, there's all these messy trend lines. I personally think that it's a very simple trade. Over the top, going higher, break down the low, going lower. If not, we could stay stuck in this range. Keep it simple, stupid. Oil, we talked about, this one's been, if you believe in demand destruction, you think Trump wants to get the price of oil down, that makes sense. If you want to see bonds rally, oil's going to have to come down. Keep an eye on it. Natural gas, again, I personally think at some point, I'd love to see it in this mid twos to mid ones range. That'd be really nice. Very nice, but keep an eye on it, right? Because again, I don't think there's really much to do on these. Just worth watching and reviewing every night just to see, hey, make sure not going in anywhere fast or we're coming into levels. Dollars we talked about, channel high, channel low coming next, 200-day. Could it happen tomorrow on the jobs number? Things you don't necessarily think about until you look at the charts, right? TLT. Sorry, I got a piece of toast in my throat. We talked about the breakout over 88. Now we're holding up here near 90. Again, you're not surprised that the market just went, look at the volume. Probably lowest volume in the bond market for TLT of the year. Again, everyone's waiting to see what the jobs numbers are like. The VIX, I thought it would be impossible for it to be 4 straight, just blood red. Well, I guess I was wrong, but look where we held. Gap. The gap. Please mind the gap. 15. Worth a watch. Keep an eye on it. SPY guy holding up. My guy, SPY. Doji day, which is interesting, in front of what should be a doji day, right? Talked about how yesterday's volume was one of the lightest. I think it was the lightest volume on record of the year. not, I mean, obviously it's only what, February, so it's not a crazy low, but again, it's, you look at the average volume being, 45, what is that, million? I can't see that. No, 452 million shares. Sorry, 480. I mean, we're doing 338, Dude, that's it's pretty light. That's way below average. Not much, which I would consider. I mean, again, it just doesn't show a lot of conviction. Makes sense? Q. Not much to say other than it seems to be holding. Again, after hours, Amazon getting pounded. See if that continues. Google got pounded. I mean, it seems to be the mega caps, but you're getting a little bit of rotation around, which again seems to be holding some names and some names not. I guess Google didn't pound it yesterday or today, but yesterday. Keep an eye on this stuff because again, I think this is where you're seeing the lower, should see the lower high here. But either way, we're in a chop zone, so don't discount that fact first, right? IWM. We talked about the 50-day being a shortable opportunity. Said, don't be surprised if we wick out of it again. What a sneaky little bastard. Gaps out of it, and then comes right back and closes it. So no wick, but just a trap. Tight action, right? A lot of market data to come tomorrow that should move something. But man, if it's a doji again, maybe you're just waiting for next week options expiration already. I can't remember correctly, right? I think it is, right? No. Sorry, it's the following week. It's like, man, the weeks and days just melt together. Dia making a slightly lower low. Keep an eye on it, or slower high. Taiwan semi. Just chopping. I mean, we've talked about this. I mean, here's the top. Here's the drop. Some lower high is coming or retest. That's all I'd be watching. Keep it simple, stupid. Micron got banged on earnings, gets up into the gap, and gives it up. Again, I mean, it's just getting banged with the baseball bat, the hammer, whatever. We've talked about semiconductors. They're going to play this game. They're heading lower. It's not going to be a straight line. Like AMD, right? Gets slammed on earnings. Due to bounce. I mean, how many days can it do this? Right? Does it need to lift more? Maybe. NVIDIA started reloading some up here, reshorting. Put the 128, 129 level as my first entries. Makes sense. Keep it simple, stupid. You can see what's going on here. This is called a downtrend. You broke, but you tested the old primary uptrend. So, of course, you're going to get some as a bounce, right? I'm trying to think of the best chart to probably do this on real quick. Let me pull up. I'll show you guys something that's interesting. Let me get out. I'm doing on another monitor. Please be patient. Please have patience. Where's that one? The very high, because you can see some of the stuff is coming into potential fib numbers in 200 days. So look at the 10, the hourly. Check this out from the top. We're at the 0.382 in the 200 day, right? You get these dead cat bounces. If it does break, could get back up into the one, I don't know, I'd say the mid 130s. And then you look at where that's at on the daily. You go, oh, 100 day. Keep it simple, stupid. Tighten the stops up. SMCI, definitely getting a little bounce. But, I mean, this thing's just been in a big, sloppy chopper range, right? Keep an eye on it. Again, I don't know what to tell you. I hate when companies have auditors that quit on them and say, I don't want part of this. I want no part to do it. You don't want none of this. Yeah, no one wants to audit their numbers. Something says something. We'll see what happens. Intellectual property. This thing's been a dog. Roof, fleas. You can play the trade, though. It seems to be 18, 19 area bounces. We'll see what happens. Again, they're not getting bought out at a premium. If they do, it's a charity job. It's like US aid at this point. Someone just throwing money at them to say, like, oh, we'll buy you guys out for influence. AVGO. Interesting, right? Gaps down, chopping, watching the 237. SMH. Coming back into resistance zone. Worth a watch. Adobe trying to hold up. We'll see. 200. This is the thing. 20 days now curling down after a pretty sizable down move. Could we rally back up in time? This one has pretty binary. If you do hold it, I don't know why. I mean, if you want to trade for 30, 40 points, I think you got it there. Applesauce. Makes sense here to short 100-day, 20-day blue zone. Could it fill the gap? I mean, that's where you're eyeballing this, right? Like, don't bring a ruler to fucking trading. Excuse my language, please. keep an eye on it. Like some people are like, short right here, right now, this price is this best price is the best. You don't know until you trade it, right? You don't know how the dice roll until you roll them. That's what you got to do, y'all. Amazon, after hours down at 226. Yeah, looking like the 50-day. It's like Google the other day. We're like, it probably drops. It's gonna adjust the 50-day. That's why I'll be watching tomorrow. See what happens there. Meta. Some puts were coming in. You have a 2-day range. I mean, this thing is rather overbought on the daily. I mean, at some point it will retest the 50-day. It's very good about that. Worth watching. CRM down 5% today. This big gap down. Here you go. Double top, right? We talk about double tops all the time. 20-day break-in with volume. Not looking bullish. Guggenheim, talk about the 50-day. Look what we're holding. 2-day range. Again, if this is just consolidation before the bigger move, that's what I'd be watching for, which it probably is. Microsoft, this thing has been just dookie. Dookie. Chopping. And again, know your levels, but this is one I'm just not really that. It's just not really providing much of. I mean, it moves fast, but you got to know your levels, and the levels aren't very clear at times. NDAQ, I like the shorter. We talked about this when it started bouncing. It's always possible to retest. I mean, look at the earnings action. Here you go, retest. There's your short. Take it with a tight stop. Very simple. Makes sense. And again, if it goes higher, you stop out. And how much higher could it go? I mean, as we talked about, this isn't the future exchange of where all the next volume of the next bull market's going to trade. So just it is what it is. I'm sorry to piss people off. This is just my opinion. MicroStrategy, we talked about this one. This is a toughie, right? I don't know. I mean, it seems to be holding 320. It feels like it could just dive off the diving board. That's where, I don't know, man. You got to be careful with that one. Netflix talked about stopping out of the, took some trades, cleared out, got stopped out, and now there's Jason was saying probably a 1030 target. Okay, makes sense to me. Again, it's holding up pretty well. I'm not gonna just short it after it breaks out. It's just, you might as well, I mean, you're just throwing darts at this point. I need a reference, so keep an eye on it. Roblox gaps down on earning, hits the 50-day, rallies back. It's a pretty damn strong rally back. But again, 20-day, 50-day, I'd be watching it. Pan W, right? We talk about this one chopping around the 190s. It's old resistance and support. Tesla, great trading in the Discord room today. Identified some levels to buy, especially if you looked, when we were talking about this, everyone was talking about the levels around 365. We identified, again, here's a recurring pattern. After a big down move, the last drop is usually pretty steep. Again, it's the same repeating pattern on dailies. Does this make sense? Steepness, probably due to bounce. Boom. People play the bounce. Fudge, yeah. Great trade. Simple stuff, man. This is where we're helping people learn repeating patterns. Keep it simple, stupid. Insight, you're welcome. Congrats. Leave a comment below if you stomped on some of that Tesla pop. Insight, again, I think this gets bought out at some point. I don't know when, but just hit me up when it does. Again, stuff it in your portfolio. Forget about it. Buy 5% of it and just let it sit. HIMS, we talked about something, taking the short on any bounce potentially after that doji. Well, there you go. And then after, FDA says, they can't run their ads, yada, yada, yada. Are you surprised? Now, again, I wouldn't say go out and short just any price. We were talking about near the, I would say it needed to be over 42. Even the higher it goes, the better. I personally think this thing's due to drop, chop, whatever the Super Bowl ad's going to be. It doesn't matter. It's priced in. Whatever was expected. I mean, the stock almost does a double in a month. People are acting like it's not priced in. It's like, okay, bird. Palantir, look at this boss, right? I mean, talk about you could short the 2 times range with tight stops. Again, have no desire to. Been watching this one. This thing is a freaking monster. I mean, so why? I'm not going to try to pick the top. I'm going to let the levels play out. And if it retests and does something great, if not, this thing has been a bear killer. McDonald's, nice little bounce today. I was watching it, and then it was like after they open, it's just like pow. Keep an eye on it. DKNG, again, I love the short here. I think it makes sense here. I think you're going down in the mid-30s at some point. Airbnb chopping around, right? Seems to be, man, this is just, talk about painful. Ugh. We've been sitting in a chop range for almost 5 months. Barf. Costco, Surprised, it's impressed that it's rallied this much, but here we go. We talked about the fib starting to come into play. Here you go, the Doge. Head and shoulders top potentially. This is just a blowout, right? Everybody chase it. Starbucks, we've talked about this one, right? Like, I like the short here, didn't short it. Why? Well, kind of forgot about it and thankful I did. It's interesting to see because, again, their CEO, they stole the CEO from Chipotle. They're cutting 30% of their menu. Yeah, they've got a lot of things to do to make money, but if you looked at their earnings, they're crap. So again, I guess everyone's assuming they're going to win. I personally believe they're not. I think there's plenty of competition out there, and honestly, I think their coffee sucks. Heard it here. FedEx drops on UPS. Look what now, right? Chopping back. This is where, again, like, rising tide will lift some boats, but we see a downtrend. Like, this is something you don't see if the economy is strong. FedEx should be flying, not flopping. Caterpillar holding the 200-day. Talked about that one endlessly. DE chopping after a big up move. That's kind of typical. Nucor, again, we like commodities long term, chopping around. These have had some decent bounces off the lows, right? Keep an eye on some of this stuff. We like these things on pullbacks on long term for long term buys. X, man, broke over the 200-day. Could this thing start flying again? I guess it's on sale. U.S. company will get paid to buy it out. I don't know. That'd be some crazy crony crap. VALE, we talked about. If you bought this at 8s, you're now thankful because you're in the mid 9s. That's a really solid quick return. I'd be watching, though, for pullbacks. But again, if you're owning it long term, you probably don't need to watch anything. Just let it do its damn thing. Like, again, you set your stop at your entry and you just let them pay the dividend and just hold on. Arrow, again, a lot of people talking about buying junior copper down here. I like this, but here's the problem. If you actually do get some sort of volatility, junior stocks will get crushed. That's all I can say on that. I don't know where it's going to stop. CCJ seems to be stuck in the blender around the 200-day. CF, we talked about the ag names, had a nice bounce. Good. Give it all up. Dump these things. Man, end of the day on freaking CF, somebody was buying the shit out of it. Mosaic, yeah, beat these things. Beat these things. Love it. NTR, same thing. Like, I would love to see these things back near the lows. Hit me up. You know what we'll be doing. Aaron, chopped around. We love aluminum long term. XLF, you son of a biscuit. Back up towards new highs. Again, I've got JP Morgan puts that are getting burned to the toast. This one's tough. Again, because I think banks hold all the issues. They carry a lot of weight on a lot of this dead debt. See what happens. Again, being wrong is part of the game. Admitting wrong, part of the game. Like I said, JP Mo, define my risk like, wrong. Morgan Stanley, well, not so much. It's back at the highs. Bank of America, chopping, back to the highs. Goldman Sachs, definitely new highs. Keep an eye on this stuff. Again, a little bit of gap here going into the jobs numbers. KRE, bounced, new highs. Keep an eye on it. Volumes are just such shit, though. Again, excuse my language. Keep an eye on it. SCO, I mean, I'm pulling through some of these copper names because people are looking at the junior copper. I just didn't like that. I was looking at some of these today. I'm like, I don't really like how they acted. They all gapped up and then keep an eye on it. XBI, this is a risk-on name. Seems to be going risk in the chop zone. Jets, we've talked about this one, right? Holding the 50-day, 20-day. It looks like a chop top. Oil comes down. Maybe they're doing better, but we'll see. XHB, housing index, I would think there'd be more bounce with rates coming down, but we'll see here. Again, I've talked about it. The housing market's soft, y'all. It is soft. Tan, solar stuff, nice little bounces. I mean, not nice, but just chopping around in bounce zones. Sedge seems to be trying to catch a bid. ENPH, 50-day seems to be problems. Again, I don't even care about solar stuff. It's like not even on my radar. I don't even watch it during the day. I'm seeing it right now, just like you are, chopping around. HYG, personally think, again, I like the idea of shorting corporate debt on pops. Last but not least, let's get into oil. We talked about the oil stuff pulling back. Man, keep an eye on this stuff. Because, again, it is oversold. But if they're trying to get the price of oil down, don't fight the trend. UNG, I hate this damn product. KOLD, we talked about this is the short on pops. I think near term, I don't know if there's a lot of upside in shorting. So that's where I'd be careful. XOP, we talked about this one. This got the nice bounce, but said don't be surprised, right? Look at the 50-day. We talked about oversold bounce, and now what? Like, this is where it gets tricky. Like, this is where I say, okay, we'll go look at the oil names, right? Like, look at Valero. Boom. Blasted. We talked about 200. Needed to clear it. Fail. We said, hey, look at MPC. It needs to really get over the 100-day. Boom. Right? Now we're kind of over it, but man, giving it right back. Keep an eye on it. Like, this is where it gets tricky. ExxonMobil. This, again, we talked about these names being in the chop cycle. BP, I like BP a lot long term. I think it makes sense. Look at today's candles. It is red, but you are making new highs. CVE, this one made sense, but bouncing. Like, look, these things have been throttled. But here's again, junior oil names could get throttled. Occidental, again, I think Buffett's going to do great on this stock long term. I would keep an eye on this. Last but not least, EQT and Flex LNG. Like, EQT makes sense to lead. I can't chase these names. And last but not least, your favorite Flex LNG. Flex on them. I think with natural gas exporters, 11% dividend yield. This thing's just chopping around. I would be patient on this. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Love you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Peace in the Middle East. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.